Call the October 7th, 2024 Polk City Parks Commission meeting to order. Can I get a roll call?
Jablonski. Absent. Converse.
Here.
Naple.
Here.
McCann.
Here.
Holland. Turner.
Here.
Page.
Here. All right, you should have a copy of the September 3rd minutes in front of you. Look for a motion and approval of the minutes.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any public comments tonight? All right. Move on to number 5, discuss community rooms fee structure. I assume this is you, Jason.
All right, before you is a sheet with some green graphs. That'll be my reference for this agenda item. The top piece is already, that has been approved. Those were kind of the prime time rental hours of the space that we're standing and sitting in right now. That was something that this commission recommended at your April meeting, and council approved those rates at their May 13th meeting. So what we're gonna discuss tonight is the Tuesday through Thursday capacity of this room. So really gonna highlight the bottom little chunk right there. Where this was coming from, we've certainly had people inquire about the availability during the week. Certain service groups here in town have interest in holding meetings here. So we wanted to have some sort of policy and fee structure set up for that. First thing I would like to point out is we did omit Monday, mostly because this room is held for public meetings on at least 4 Mondays per month. If we're graced with a 5th Monday, there is no public meeting that night. But we would also have some discretionary of that, but as it pertains to this fee structure, we are omitting Mondays. So Tuesday through Thursday, we're looking at offering some sort of hourly rental option. We thought that would work best for the space, given those 3 days. In kind of the comparison here in town, the library does something very similar with their multi-use room. They do it granular enough at the hourly level where they can have programming in there, and if there is an option for open space, it would become rentable at that point. And I see a lot of similarities between that room and this room too. Throughout the day, there may be police training in here, staff meeting, but there are also options for private rentals in here. So what I did, I kind of extrapolated out the cost per hour, which was factored in heavily when we came up with those rates above. And that came back at about $50 an hour for a resident, $62.50 for a non-resident. What I'm going to offer here, and I will go a step further, but just as I go left to right, a nonprofit, a 501c3 rate, 50% discount of a resident rate at $25 an hour. The damage deposit would remain the same at $500. As we go down a few of those asterisk points there, we are looking at a 2-hour minimum rental. Local nonprofits may use the community room free of charge once per month. This is also in line with what the library offers. And I also wanted to define that local is a nonprofit that is 50226 or affiliated with the North Polk Community School District. The rentable hours we would do start at 8 a.m. and they would go till 10 p.m. Those 3 nights. Again, on a Friday night, that is considered like a primetime rental, and so that is already accounted for in the graph. The graph above. So do you have any questions about the proposed weeknight rental structure being proposed?
Do we need to have anyone here after hours?
Yes, there would likely, depending, we may require staff be here, or we do have the capacity to issue cards that have a very set time that they'll work. And so they would be able to let themselves in. Very similar to what we do at Miller Park. We issue a key, and then we, check the facility afterward for damage.
Okay.
Yep.
Jason, did you say this is what the library's rates are currently?
So it's not their rates, but it is their structure, where they do allow a nonprofit one free use
I
per
see.
month. Yep.
I think that's great to let the local nonprofits use it once a month for free. I think that's just being part of several of them. I know that's always a challenge trying to find meeting spaces, so I think that'll go over well.
Yeah, and of course, we still have the Miller Park Shelter House, which, obviously doesn't serve dual purpose. So, there's always the capacity to continue offering nonprofits the use of that, not capped at one per month up there as well.
Make a motion to approve the community room fee structure.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. All right, you want to just stay up there for item 6?
I will. So here, Q3 program cost recovery report. So the months July through September. You can see it was a busy month for youth programming. Of course, it was the end of summer, so July and August really packed. We did end just slightly above 100% cost recovery, so very pleased there. As we flip over, for the adults, the big one was co-ed softball, so a lot of participation there. We get that number based on rosters, signatures on rosters. And again, that's another one where adult programming, you'd like to exceed 100% cost recovery. So we did that there. And the last one, senior programming, again, you want to be in that 10 to 40%. So we actually exceeded that just slightly. I wanted to give you guys just a little snapshot of what Q3 this year looked like compared to Q3 last year. So purely for this quarter, in 2024, we had 274 program participants. Last year, we had 223, so we saw a 23% increase. That really is attributed to a lot of new youth programs. We partnered with Ames Racket and Fitness for tennis lessons this year. They have a more diversified offering, and it was a little bit more appealing from a price point than the previous tennis provider. We also partnered with Bricks for Kids, that's Lego camps. So those were very popular. They sold out very quickly. So yeah, an increase from last year. And then also just a snapshot of the calendar year. So this year, the first 9 months of the year, we've had 757 program participants. Last year, we had 462, a 64% increase. By and large, that came from the youth basketball back in January, February. But again, we have seen smaller increases in Q2 and Q3. So really excited that these new programs are being accepted and desired from Polk City.
That's awesome.
With that, I'll willing to go into any program specifics you'd like, but overall very pleased with Q3.
Any questions from commission?
Was there any football offerings for the younger age? I know there's been like intro to football in the past. Was there any of that, or is that part of the All-Star Sports Camp?
No, so that'll be on the Q4 report. Yep, right now, this week, I'm finishing up my preschool football, and then next week I start it for first and second grade. So yeah, that just barely is Q4.
Is your plan to continue all of these programs next summer then too, or are they gonna be all available?
Yes, when I talked with like those Bricks for Kids, they were very pleased with the response coming to Polk City. We also did a few camps with Challenge Island. That is a STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So we also did partner with them to offer a few new camps. I think overall, they were very pleased to come to Polk City, and the response was good too. So, yep, we'll definitely keep diversifying with, outsiders, kind of like Bricks for Kids, that can come in and offer a product, and we do a revenue split with them. But then also, as long as I have a good summer staff, we'll continue to offer all those in-house things as well.
Any other questions or comments? Well, great work. All right, roll into item 7, director's report.
Yeah, two main things I wanted to mention to you guys tonight. The first is about Fall Fest. That is it's our fall festival that's coming up, this coming Saturday, October 12th. It's a collaboration between Polk City's Parks and Rec and Go Polk City. So myself and Stacy Allen have been putting this together over the last couple months. The weather looks pretty good for this coming Saturday, but again, it's just gonna be that placemaking opportunity on the square for the fall season. We'll have inflatables, face painting, seasonal vendors, some food trucks going on. A lot of the businesses around will have fall decor, fall themed items for purchase as well. So that'll be this Saturday on the square from 2 to 6 p.m. The other piece I wanted to mention is just a update on the municipal park project. And I wanted to go ahead and just let you guys know, the project formerly known as Regional Park. So when we worked with our bond council to put that on the ballot in November, it was their suggestion that we classify it as a municipal park, so there would be no confusion about where the funding would be coming from. The idea of regional might suggest that other monies are coming, but this will be a city-owned park. So yeah, for the next month, it will be known as the municipal park. I'm sure you've seen possibly signs, Facebook groups about the project. The intent would be, going forward past the election, if things go favorably, it would likely be referred back to a blank regional park. Hopefully the blank is a nice sponsor, but we'll see. So no, if somebody were to ask you about the municipal park, please know that they are referring to the regional park project that we've been talking about for 3 years. And one last piece on that, Polk City is sending out a mailer on that project. We just got our stamp of approval from the state ethics board that it is a fine flyer. We're not advocating for anything. It's purely educational, letting people know about a ballot issue. So that will probably be in mailboxes probably next week, we're hoping. So that'll direct people to a QR code to go to the city's page to find out more about the project and hopefully answer all the questions that they might have. I think that's all I have.
Jason, I have a question.
Yeah.
I know that there is a copy of that postcard that was going around. I think it was maybe on the city council agenda or something, that had a different dollar amount than what the Friends of the Park is talking about. Has a dollar amount been decided on what this is costing people? Because I know I've been personally asked about it a couple times this weekend.
Yeah, so the current mailer shows a dollar amount that is associated with the construction. And that's probably what the Friends are showing. There is also a following sentence that references future operational costs. We decided to go that route knowing that the first few years, the operational costs would not be maxed out. That is reflecting a fully functional park. So yeah, there's definitely two numbers that you could look at. One is the construction costs per 100,000 assessed, and then anything that might differ, like general fund, being a park in the future, and then that would reflect the operations cost.
So both numbers are on that. And
Yes,
explain
yep.
why the number's different.
The per 100,000 is reflective of the bond, what the debt would be. And then it does also mention that 300,000 operations is what's estimated once fully functional.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Moving on to item 8, reports and particulars. So, start with you, Rob.
Yeah, so a couple things I wanted to bring up. There've been some development discussions in the last couple of council meetings, but One thing that, and if you guys have more questions on those, happy to talk about them, but the one thing that I did want to point out is that we had a working session that kind of reassessed the staffing plan, which includes the Parks Department, and in addition, I can't remember what year, but we did a staffing plan, which is a plan and would be, we'll vote on it here coming up, but wanted to call your attention so you saw when that was coming. Obviously, from going from 1 to 2 is different than Public Works going from, whatever number, incrementally adding there. So, with no real purpose other than to get your feedback on when that might be able to manifest and what that means for different park opportunities. So that should be coming for formal approval. It doesn't mean anything other than that here's our plan. Each budget year would be the actual approval of those positions, but wanted to call your attention to that. The other thing, kind of going to your point, Tim, so I've gotten a few questions on where the city's at with the municipal park. I need to adjust my verbiage. And actually, that was one question. The regional park, I think, was a good idea in terms of it wasn't a sports complex. It wasn't a few uses tailored towards kids completely. After the years going, I think we've talked about this too, but a regional park was only meant, at least from my perspective, to entail a more encompassing use and robust use than a baseball or football or soccer or the league. So going to the municipal park, but I've gotten questions on what the city's doing and what it's not doing. So if there's any question about the city's support, please let me know, because I've not seen that, and I don't want to speak for anybody else other than that I think there is pretty broad support from the city. There is limitations on what the city can do, as Jason referenced. The postcard will just be factual information. You cannot spend city funds to advocate for the approval, and nor can say like as a city councilor, I'm pushing for this. But obviously, as an individual, I have opinion, and others can weigh in to the degree that they wish to. But I do think there's a very thorough plan here, and I think that what got a little bit disjointed at the end was the engagement of the Renaissance group to assess what the dollar amount that was most likely to pass would be is a step that the city's not taken in the past. We've taken more of a grassroots approach with volunteers and the Get Out the Vote campaign, and I think what the Renaissance group brought to the table was a statistical model based on interviews and a number of factors that led us to that $10 million figure. So in the stretch run, that caused a little bit more, let's be careful about this, and could be construed as tepid sort of enthusiasm to going ahead with it, which again, I don't think is the case. So I don't want to speak for anybody else, but if you're hearing that, I know we've got different groups that are advocating. If there's anything that I can do as a proxy for the city or as a member of the city, please let me know. I think that this is a formative event or referendum. I mean, referendums are phrased for lots of purposes, right? We're borrowing money, which is significant. We're having people vote on the usage of the land, and that's a big deal. The other thing that I haven't gotten a chance to do is I know the grading work has really jumped up in the last couple weeks, and it looks quite a bit different. I haven't been able to get out there yet, but and that's another thing that it's being graded for a purpose. So if this bond referendum approves, that gives us a timeline. If it doesn't, the timeline changes, but the usage probably doesn't, quite honestly. So, and that'll put things back to the drawing board, but it won't really change what that land will be. It'll just change when it'll be used. So, and the other thing that I'll just add is the ambiguity around the operating costs are a tricky thing, and I appreciate what Jason and Chelsea did to kind of get to a number, but I've been reticent to really focus on that, because will there be expenses? Yes, and I understand people wanting to know what there are, but, you know, how much time is given to the Little League and the United clubs to use at no cost? How many tournaments do we get in? How much is the mowing bid, when you factor in all the other mowing that we already have to do on our parks? So it's really, it's nothing more than it's a difficult forecast to make, rather than it's you know, it's a secret number or anything like that. So I just wanted to emphasize that point. And then, you know, the final thing is, a lot of the, you know, we purchased that land, 2020. So it's, these wheels have been set in motion, and again, I think that kind of speaks to the fact that there isn't this continuous push like you've got with some other projects. So if you guys, again, are hearing similar things, please let me know. I'd be happy to have a discussion with whomever, and if you guys have questions yourselves too, happy to answer any of those as well.
Is there gonna be, I think when Jessica was here talking to us about the Friends, she said something about potentially having a table or something to talk about the new park, an informative kind of a thing. Do you know if that's gonna happen at the Fall Fest?
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, at Fall Fest, the group that's advocating will be there on behalf of trying to pump up a yes mindset. In terms of the city being there, no, we will not have a table set up. So it'll purely be kind of information and advocacy from that group at Fall Fest.
But a group will be there anyway, so.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe it is on their schedule.
All right, any other questions or for Rob?
Is there any, not for Rob,
Oh, okay.
sorry, Rob. Is there any, report on the current sports complex, fee usage for, Q3 or Q2?
No, I can get you, I will bring that number to a future meeting for you, let you know how we're doing.
All right, Jason, did you have any particulars to share?
No, I have nothing else.
All right. Anything else from commission members? All right, well, I think we can take a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right,